And thanks for joining us for another edition of the Creek Catch Up. And guess what? Something different. There's plenty happening here at the Creek. But this week, we're racing with a difference because we're racing on Friday night. That's our Metro card, 10 races starting at 5:25. No action on Saturday night, not at the Creek. There is a meeting at Redcliffe because all roads will lead down the highway to the Gold Coast on Sunday morning for the Sunshine Stars yearling sale. So that's right. The Sunshine Stars yearling sale, we've been talking about this for months on end. It's finally arrived and it's going to take place on Sunday. The first lot in the ring at 11. There's over 100 lots to go under the hammer. Many of those lots are Q-bred types as well. So it pays to be Q-bred with our big futurity scheme in place here in the Sunshine State. If you want to get any late info, contact the club, or you can go online, Nutrien Standard Bred, and you'll be able to find all the info there. The catalogue's online, there's videos, there's photos of all the lots going under the hammer, if not all, most of them there. So it's going to be a big, big day on Sunday. So we're racing Friday night, our Metro meeting, and that starts the Jim McNeil Trotting Championship for 2023. We've got 2 heats of that series on Friday night. We've got another round of heats the following week, and the final is 2 weeks on Saturday. So there's a lot to look forward to as far as the action is concerned. Now, we're operating from the new tower as well, officially underway last week, and it's been smooth sailing. We're up very high. It's very good. So it is top notch. It's been a long time coming. Don't worry about that. Close to 15 years, but the tower is operational and we're loving it up there. Now, sad news coming through, or disappointing news, I should say. Not sad news, it's disappointing news. One of our best paces in the state is out of action effective immediately, and he's going to be out of action for anywhere to 3 to 4 months. Teddy Disco, he went down to Sydney for a shot at the Chariots of Fire. He performed below expectations. He didn't qualify for the Chariots of Fire. They ran some tests since he arrived back in Brisbane. Nothing seriously amiss, but he's obviously got some growth pains at the moment, so they just want to tread cautiously with Teddy Disco. So he's out of the upcoming Constellations, and there's no chance of him being ready for the Eureka as well. So nothing too serious. They're just going to back right off, give him a bit of time to grow and develop into his frame, and then they'll start again. Because if you're not at 110% racing against the likes of Leap to Fame and Co., you're going to be found out. So they're going to do the right thing by Teddy Disco. So he is out of action. So there's no Hayden race for him. There's no Winter Carnival features, and ultimately no Eureka. So that's disappointing news. The flip side is, speaking of Leap to Fame, Big Larry, he's back in action next Tuesday. He is set to trial at Albion Park for Grant and Trista Dixon, Kevin and Kay Seymour. Of course, they've just been sitting back, biding their time, letting him go through his paces, watching all of the action unfold south of the border with Catch a Wave, Captain Ravishing. Who is the best 4-year-old in Australia? We think it's Leap to Fame. Or the Southerners, they're not too sure now. Captain Ravishing was their main hope. Now he's fallen by the wayside. They're getting onto the bandwagon of Catch a Wave, but Larry's got him covered too. So we're going to see him step out on Tuesday afternoon, Leap to Fame. That is going to be very exciting. Uptown Beach Girl is a mare that is low flying. She starts Friday night, aiming for 3 straight victories. She went to the paddock at the end of last year as a Group 3 winner. She's come back with 2 sparkling victories, including her win at the Creek last week. She backs up again on Friday night. And just with that little bit of a doubt on the mare's open class ranks here in the Sunshine State, she could easily develop into the state's best mare. I spoke with Donnie Smith on air during the week on radio, and he's pushing towards those big mares features, the Golden Girl, the Fleur de Lille, so she could easily stamp herself as the best mare. She's going to step out on Saturday night, race 1, number 2, hoping to make it 3 straight this campaign, 4 straight over the best part of her last couple of months, because she went to the paddock recently. Now, speaking of mares, Red Trick, she stepped out on Tuesday for Shane Graham. First up from Sydney, a thumping mile, 52 and change. She's a big, roomy mare as well, so maybe she could be a bit of a wild card for some of these mares' features coming up, but she looked good there, winning on Tuesday afternoon. Now, speaking of the sales, we had the Sydney sales last weekend. Queensland buyers are plenty down there. Alf Laspina and his family, very active as per normal. Jack Butler picked up 1. Brittany Graham picked up 1. Darren McCall picked up the only Q-bred offering from that sale. So it's going to be very interesting to see who's purchasing this weekend at the Sunshine Stars down there at the Magic Millions complex at Bundall. Shout out to a couple of our sponsors. If you're not on board with Sulky.app, get on board now. This makes punting a whole lot easier. So check them out, Sulky.app. It's well worth having on your phone. Stance Equitech, great to have them on board, and The View are on board with Albion Park as well, the hotel across the road from the racetrack. So a shout out to a few of our sponsors there. Pete McMullen, Nathan Dawson. This is going to be one of the highlights of 2023. Nathan Dawson stating publicly on air during the week, his main focus to win the premiership, the state premiership, the metro premiership, the national premiership. Pete McMullen, as we know, has won the past couple of national premierships. So this is going to be very interesting. Pete McMullen will have another stint on the sidelines after a little bit of a mishap last week. So Nathan gets his chance to further expand on his lead. So this is going to be a really good battle here between the two cousins, Nathan Dawson and Pete McMullen. A shout out to young Luke Thiergood. He went to Sydney last week. There were 6 mini trot drivers down there competing. Luke Thiergood was able to win the Mini Miracle Mile with his pony. So well done to Luke. Well done to the family getting behind Luke, and he came up trumps there, winning the Mini Miracle Mile there with his pony. Narissa McMullen, she's continuing to do well. She's at home. She's recuperating nicely. So all the reports coming through are positive. So let's just keep the fingers crossed that she'll be back on the track sooner rather than later, because she is our #1 female driver in the state. Hot and Treacherous, he's arrived. He's now with Jack Butler. He touched down in Sydney last week, made the road trip up from Sydney. So he's now here in Queensland, Hot and Treacherous. So that's good news. A couple of shout outs. Brad Fox celebrating his 30th birthday during the week. Brad, of course, the husband of Jennifer, who works in the office at Albion Park. So many happy returns to Brad. Valet Norm McCloy and also Lawson Coburn. We lost these two gentlemen during the week or recently. Both have had huge involvements in harness racing. Norm McCloy racing horses with John McMullen for a long period of time. Lawson Coburn, well known to many. He lived to a ripe old age, but sadly passing away. So our thoughts and prayers certainly with both families, Norm McCloy and Lawson Coburn. And don't forget, with the carnival fast approaching, because we're pretty much midway through March now, Tab have got markets open for both the Rising Sun and the Blacks Are Fake. Leap to Fame is the favourite for the Rising Sun, naturally. And I think there's about 4 or 5 on the top line of betting for the Blacks Are Fake, so it's wide open. But Tab do have markets available for both of those features. They were opened earlier in the week. So that's all the news I've got for you this week. We look forward to seeing you on Friday night at Albion Park, and we'll see you down at the sales on Sunday. It's the Magic Millions Complex down there at Bundall, opposite the Gold Coast Turf Club, and we'll see you there. First lot in the ring at 11 a.m.